Last year, he was crypto's golden boy, the king. But today, Sam Bankman-Freed is officially a criminal defendant staring down more than 100 years behind bars.
FTX trial has become a closely watched referendum, not only on FTX's collapse, but also on reckless behavior in the cryptocurrency industry as a whole. Before the market imploded last year, a frenzy over digital coins like Bitcoin and Ethereum swept up millions of everyday investors, wiping out people's savings and sending a whole lot of startups into bankruptcy. The FTX trial began on October 4, with federal prosecutors opening the criminal trial of Sam Bankman-Freed with a simple message. He deliberately lied to the world, leading to one of the biggest financial frauds of a generation. Bankman-Freed's lawyer advanced a far different narrative. The lawyer said he was simply a well-intentioned entrepreneur who acted in good faith to make his firm successful, with no intention to defraud anyone. Sam has been charged with orchestrating a conspiracy to use $10 billion that FTX's customers had entrusted to him for all manner of personal projects, including venture capital investments, political donations, and luxury real estate purchases. Thane Wren, a lead prosecutor, told a packed room at the federal courthouse in Manhattan that it looked like Sam Bankman-Freed was on top of the world, but it was all built on lies. Mark Cohen, Bankman-Freed's lawyer, soon hit back and said, "It's not a crime to run a business in good faith that ends up going through a storm." He called the prosecution's portrayal of his client a cartoon of a villain that distorted the facts. Sam Bankman-Freed has called himself one of the most hated people in the world, and he has pleaded not guilty to 7 counts of fraud and money laundering. 3 of his top executives have pleaded guilty to fraud and agreed to cooperate against him, including his on and off girlfriend, Caroline Ellison. If Sam gets convicted, he could face 110 years in prison. Prosecutors and defense lawyers said in court that they had not held any negotiations over a plea agreement and that no deal was offered to Sam Bankman-Freed. Thane Wren, the leading prosecutor, accused Sam Bankman-Freed of fraud on a massive scale, casting him as a schemer who was not what he appeared to be. He said Bankman-Freed had moved funds that customers deposited with FTX to Alameda, which then funneled the money into investments and donations. Thane Wren repeatedly mentioned cooperating witnesses, emphasizing that anyone who claims to have participated in the scheme with Sam Bankman-Freed would testify against him. He also referred to Sam Bankman-Freed's posts on Twitter and FTX commercials as lies intended to deceive customers. He said Sam Bankman-Freed was taking his customer deposits and spending them for himself, and he was keeping his customers in the dark. Prosecutors gathered millions of pages of digital evidence, including text and email logs, as well as snippets of computer code that demonstrated how FTX transferred money from customers to Alameda. They have an audio recording from the week before FTX's collapse, in which Caroline Ellison appears to admit that she and Sam Bankman-Freed conspired to steal customer deposits. They also won a number of pre-trial battles, allowing them to present evidence that Sam Bankman-Freed has contested and preventing his legal team from mounting certain defenses. Sam defense lawyer Mark Cohen pushed back against the public narrative that Sam Bankman-Freed was a con artist intent on stealing customer money. He said, "Sam didn't defraud anyone. Sam acted in good faith." Mark Cohen walked the jurors through FTX's history, portraying his client as a math nerd who didn't drink or party, arguing that Sam Bankman-Freed acted in his customers' best interests, even if he didn't always make the right decisions. He said, "No one person, no CEO, certainly not Sam, could be everywhere and doing everything." He also attacked the credibility of Caroline Ellison and the other cooperating witnesses, pointing out that they were trying to avoid long prison sentences. He said that Sam Bankman-Freed had urged Caroline Ellison to put hedges on Alameda's trading activity, but Caroline Ellison ignored Sam Bankman-Freed, leading to some of the problems that caused the business empire to collapse. He said prosecutors must consider what Sam did and said in real time. He made business decisions that he thought were right when he made them. Prosecutors called their first witness. Following the opening statements, they called Marc-Antoine Gilliard, an investor in London who lost more than $100,000 in cash and Bitcoin in FTX's collapse. Marc-Antoine Gilliard said he thought FTX would keep his money safe. They called another witness who testified under immunity, Adam Udidia, a college friend of Sam who worked at Alameda and FTX. He said he had quit just before FTX filed for bankruptcy when he learned that its customer money had been siphoned off to Alameda. He also discussed the lavish apartments in the Bahamas that prosecutors have said were bought with FTX customer money. More witnesses were called to testify and said they lost money in the crypto market, while another said she worked for a financial firm that had lost funds with FTX and Alameda, and another witness said the whole concept of crypto rubbed him the wrong way. It reminded him of the Ponzi scheme carried out by the disgraced financier Bernard Madoff.
So far, Sam Bankman-Freed, he's faced 4 different witnesses, 2 of who you just mentioned, close, longtime friends, college roommates at MIT, and also just longtime friends from childhood, one of them. Gary Wang is a key to the government's case. He's the one who was up on the stand yesterday and today.
Gary Wang and Sam Bankman-Freed were classmates at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and close friends who shared a luxury penthouse in the Bahamas with 8 other roommates. Gary Wang became enormously rich with an estimated net worth of nearly $5 billion. Within FTX, Gary Wang and Sam Bankman-Freed were regarded as opposites. While Sam Bankman-Freed was the energetic pitchman, Gary Wang was the shy coder who arrived at work in the middle of the afternoon and worked all night. Their relationship ended in December when Gary Wang pleaded guilty to federal fraud charges, saying he knew what he was doing was wrong. Gary Wang is one of Sam Bankman-Freed's 3 close advisors and colleagues who have pleaded guilty and agreed to cooperate against him. Gary Wang testified that Sam Bankman-Freed was the final decision-maker at the firm and directed a closely related hedge fund to misuse as it pleased billions of dollars in money from FTX customers. But before Gary Wang took the stand, lawyers questioned Adam Udidia, one of Sam Bankman-Freed's MIT classmates. Adam Udidia, a developer at FTX, recalled a conversation he had with Sam in mid-2022, months before FTX failed, in which the founder admitted that his company was on shaky ground. Mr. Udidia said, "Sam said something like, 'We were bulletproof last year, but we're not bulletproof this year.'" He also said Sam Bankman-Freed explained that it could take 6 months to 3 years to make the company bulletproof again. Matt Wang, the founder of Paradigm, a venture capital firm that was one of FTX's biggest backers, took the stand after Adam Udidia. Matt Wang stated that if he had known the full extent of the exchange's relationship with Alameda, he would have been hesitant to authorize investments in FTX. Gary Wang said Sam Bankman-Freed was fully aware that Alameda Research had siphoned off $8 billion in customer money from FTX. He said Sam Bankman-Freed had lied in his public statements in November about FTX customer assets being safe and secure. Gary Wang said Sam Bankman-Freed called the shots on big issues at FTX. In the end, it was Sam's decision. Gary Wang has admitted to creating a secret backdoor that allowed Alameda to borrow a virtually unlimited amount of money from the exchange. Prosecutors have argued that this backdoor was one of the primary engines of the scheme to steal customer accounts. Sam Bankman-Freed's legal team has argued that FTX and Alameda had an appropriate business relationship and were not set up to create some grand fraudulent scheme. Gary Wang took the jury on a journey from FTX's beginning in 2019 to its shocking collapse last year. He said that he had written FTX's computer code to grant Alameda special privileges at Sam Bankman-Freed's direction beginning in 2019. That effectively allowed the trading platform to make unlimited withdrawals from the exchange, and none of that was disclosed to customers, investors, or lenders to the firms. Gary Wang said, "We gave special privileges to Alameda Research on FTX, and we lied about this to the public. Alameda at first was allowed to take out only as much as FTX's revenue from trading fees, which was about $300 million at the time. But that credit line increased over time, growing to tens of billions of dollars, and Sam Bankman-Freed said he had no issues with this. Sam also pushed large losses incurred at FTX onto Alameda to make FTX's finances, which were more visible to investors, look better." Under cross-examination, Gary Wang said some of the special privileges that Alameda had were part of its role as a trading partner to enable FTX customers to freely buy and sell cryptocurrencies.
Sam Bankman-Freed's ex-girlfriend is back on the witness stand.
That's right. Caroline Ellison repeatedly told jurors over the last 2 days that Bankman-Freed was the mastermind behind the crimes that led to the company's downfall.
Caroline Ellison and Sam Bankman-Freed were colleagues on a trading floor in New York. Then they became friends running a startup together in Hong Kong. Eventually, they became romance partners on and off. The relationship between Sam Bankman-Freed and Caroline Ellison took another turn in a packed Manhattan courtroom when the two faced each other for the first time since the cryptocurrency trading companies they built together collapsed in November. When Caroline Ellison took the stand, the prosecutor asked her to point Sam Bankman-Freed out. She took more than 10 seconds to point him out. Then, within the first 15 minutes of her testimony, Caroline Ellison repeatedly blamed Sam Bankman-Freed for crimes that led to FTX implosion. She testified that he instructed her to use FTX customer deposits to finance venture investments and loan repayments by Alameda Research. She said Alameda took around $14 billion, only some of which it was able to repay. She said, "He directed me to commit these crimes." Caroline Ellison saying Bankman-Freed directed her to commit crime as if he had a gun on her head. Caroline Ellison then went on to discuss her history with Sam Bankman-Freed and the specifics of their relationship, often in highly personal terms. Caroline Ellison and Sam Bankman-Freed met at Jane Street, a New York trading firm where Sam worked briefly after college, more than 5 years ago. They became romantically involved after bonding over a shared commitment to effective altruism, a philanthropic movement popular in tech circles. Caroline Ellison joined Sam at Alameda in 2018 as a trader and was later promoted to chief executive. Caroline Ellison said, shortly after starting at Alameda, she realized the company was in much worse shape than what Sam Bankman-Freed had told her. The firm had suffered large losses and was desperate for new sources of capital. She said Sam Bankman-Freed was very ambitious, telling her that he wanted his companies to be successful and that there was a 5% chance that he would become president of the United States. She said Bankman-Freed had unusual approach to risk. She said, at one point Sam Bankman-Freed said he would happily perform a coin flip if heads meant the world would become twice as good, even if tails meant the world would be destroyed. Caroline Ellison eventually moved with Sam Bankman-Freed from Alameda's original headquarters in the San Francisco Bay Area to Hong Kong, and then later to the Bahamas, where FTX and Alameda were based when they imploded. When prosecutors questioned Caroline Ellison about her relationship with Sam Bankman-Freed, Caroline Ellison's voice became softer. She said that she had little power in the relationship and that Sam didn't want other people to know they were dating. She said, "He was the person I reported to. He owned the company, and he set my compensation and had the ability to fire me." Caroline Ellison said dating created some awkward situations because Sam Bankman-Freed was his boss. She said she ultimately broke up with him because he often felt distant or wasn't paying attention to her. Caroline Ellison said Alameda had dipped into FTX's customer funds for years. She said, at a meeting in Hong Kong in 2021, Sam Bankman-Freed authorized the use of FTX customer deposits to buy back about $2 billion in shares of the exchange that were owned by the rival crypto company Binance. She remembered him saying, "We have to get it done." Caroline Ellison also stated that she questioned the use of FTX customer funds to pay lenders or make investments several times, only for Sam Bankman-Freed to reassure her that it was the right decision. She said, "As a trader, I was a customer on exchanges, and if I knew this was happening at another exchange, I would be uncomfortable leaving money there." Prosecutors took Caroline Ellison through several spreadsheets she had created and shared with Sam Bankman-Freed, in which she predicted Alameda would struggle to repay its creditors if the market crashed. She also stated that she was concerned about how FTX and Alameda treated FTT, a digital coin created by Sam Bankman-Freed. Caroline Ellison said Sam was intent on ensuring that FTT maintained a certain value on the market, and that was because of its role in Alameda's business. The hedge fund offered FTT as collateral for loans, essentially allowing the firm to exchange an invented currency for other assets. To stop FTT's value from falling, Sam Bankman-Freed directed Alameda to buy large quantities periodically. She said Sam Bankman-Freed wanted to keep those efforts secret and scolded her when she discussed Alameda's FTT strategy openly in the office. Caroline Ellison said she was uncomfortable using FTT to obtain loans because its value was largely imaginary. If it were sold in large quantities, it could quickly become worthless. But she said Sam directed her to do it. Caroline Ellison has given some of the most raw and emotional testimony of the trial on her third day on the stand. She fought back tears as she described Sam Bankman-Freed's companies collapsing, saying part of her felt relieved that she wouldn't have to lie anymore to hide the fact that Alameda owed FTX's customers billions of dollars. Under questioning from Mark Cohen, Caroline Ellison conceded that she sent a misleading document to Alameda employees last year that presented a more bullish version of the trading firm's performance than she had discussed with Sam Bankman-Freed. She said, "Yeah, I would say it was misleading about the true state of Alameda in this document." Caroline Ellison, on the other hand, stated that she did so to maintain the morale of Alameda employees during a period when the cryptocurrency market was experiencing widespread stress. Caroline Ellison also said that after Sam put her in charge of Alameda in 2021, he didn't get involved in many of the firm's major decisions. When a prosecutor followed up, she said Sam Bankman-Freed got more involved in Alameda by spring 2022 and that he decided to tap into FTX customer money to pay back lenders of the trading firm. Under questioning by Mark Cohen, she also said that despite her concerns, she didn't resign from Alameda. But when questioned again by a prosecutor, she said she had seriously considered resigning in the months before the firms imploded and that Sam talked her out of it. Caroline Ellison said, "I trusted his opinion and I didn't want FTX and Alameda to collapse. And if he thought my resigning might cause that, I didn't want to do that." Mark Cohen also discussed Caroline Ellison's decision to plead guilty and cooperate with prosecutors, as well as her concerns about Alameda's use of FTX customer funds. Caroline Ellison said she had around 20 meetings with prosecutors, including one that lasted for several hours on 9 October, the day before she took the witness stand. She also said that despite her concerns about Alameda borrowing billions of dollars in FTX customer money, she never talked about it with anyone other than Sam Bankman-Freed, Gary Wang, and Mr. Singh. A former developer at Alameda, Christian Drapi, took the stand after Caroline Ellison finished on Thursday afternoon. During his testimony, the prosecution played an audio recording of an all-hands meeting at which Caroline Ellison told Alameda employees about the use of FTX customer funds and the firm's imminent collapse. Prosecutors had expected to finish presenting their case around October 25, though there's at least a decent chance they call their list of witnesses and wrap sooner. There's a common government strategy called thin to win. If you've got out most of the evidence of the fraud and the exhibits you need, then there's sort of only danger in adding more.